sunshines. I hope that y'all are well on today. I'm not gonna do a whole lot of tagging, but I want to come on and talk about this thing that is just so personal to me, and I'm gonna try to keep my emotions in check, because this is a very sensitive topic for me. Let me first start with introductions. For those who do not know me, my name is L. Antoinette. I'm a therapeutic self-care strategist, and what I do is that I help amazing women coaches and consultants in the space, or all basically women service providers, in the space of managing their soul health, which is their mind, their emotions, and their willpower. Hey, lovey. Their willpower, health, and then I also help them in this space because it's necessary as they are managing their increasing success. Okay, so that is what I do first and foremost. Now I want to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing today with this holiday thriving kit that is so important. Hey, beautiful. This holiday thriving kit that is so important to me. So let me tell you, this is very personal for me. Again, it's very personal for me because this is a system that I had to develop when my best friend died. And if you have been following my story, you will know that a lot of the work that I do now has come from losing her and me having to look at some spaces within myself and really notice, like, hey, we didn't really take good care of ourselves. Like, we really just ran ourselves ragged. Hey, beautiful. We just ran ourselves ragged, and we just did this and we did that, and we just kind of did the most. And so her death really forced me to kind of sit down and look at myself and really force myself to start doing some real healing. And in this space, God started to show me different things about myself and show me that I'm supposed to be doing this work. So this is actually how I got into doing this work. So this holiday thriving kit is just so vital to me because probably I want to say maybe like a year or so after she died, we celebrated like so much together to the point to where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even celebrate like my birthday, or I can't celebrate like these certain things because I just don't think I can handle my emotions. I just don't think that I can deal with this, or look at a seat and see that she's not there. Like, I don't think I'm ready. I don't know, all of those different type of things. And so God allowed me to create a system that allowed me to honor her and honor loved ones in a way that have passed on without being, overcome or consumed by my emotions, or having to leave an event abruptly because I just can't take it. I just can't handle it. It's really taught me how to set the proper boundaries in place and understand that in certain situations, I don't have to go and I don't have to do things the way that things have been done before. I can do things differently to where I am comfortable and that I feel good about honoring my loved one. And so that's the whole thing behind this and why it's so important to, because death is going to happen. Everybody got an expiration date. We're just being honest. Everything on this earth has an expiration date. And what we have to be clear on is that that's going to happen, and we're going to need tools to be able to deal with things beyond the funeral, beyond people coming over and checking on you, because as you know, all of that stops and it slows down, and then it gets down to you and your thoughts. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do in that space? And so I want to help you. I want to give you about 10 things that you can do. Okay, and then I'm also going to give you something that I personally use called a creative action plan that is going to assist you and help you in making sure that you're not consumed by your emotions, you're not overwhelmed by your emotions, and you're able to celebrate your loved one in such a way that's honorable and that you feel still good about it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into what this is going to look like. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 6 tips that are extremely essential to thriving during the holiday season. And then after that, if you know someone who's in a space where they are grieving and they're just really struggling, and maybe you're not the person that's grieving, but maybe it's someone that you know, I'm going to give you 4 tips to be able to help other people that are grieving, even through your own grief. Because what people don't understand is sometimes we feel guilty, for grieving. I'm going to be very transparent with you. When my best friend died, we have the same first name, almost same middle name. So I felt so awkward. I didn't want to even call because I didn't want to make their grief worse. I felt like I would be making their grief worse. And so I had to kind of learn, like, no, that's not the case. And so I'm going to give you some tips to kind of be able to help people as you're grieving, the people around you, so you're not consumed by their grief that you're not even dealing with your own. Okay? So this is really, really vital. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the elements to creating your creative action plan so that you can execute and you really can thrive during the holidays instead of trying to figure everything out and just survive. All right? Everybody feeling good? If you're, do me a favor, if you can hear me clearly too, put a 1 in the comments, because before I start dropping these gems, I want to make sure that you can hear me well because I don't want you to miss anything. And make sure that you get your notebooks. If you haven't already, just grab your notebooks. I'm sorry, I'm moving around in this chair so that's what you may hear. So put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly. One of the first things also that I want to do is I want to explain, awesome, thank you. I want to explain what good grief is. And I know people are like, okay, how is grief good in any form or fashion? Like, what does that even look like? Good grief is grief that is managed in a healthy manner, okay? Good grief is grief that's managed in a healthy manner. There are many ways that you can handle grief, and I'm gonna go a little bit into that once we get into the 6 steps, but not all ways that people handle grief is in a healthy manner. And so I want us to get in that space, okay, of being able to grieve with a situation, a human being that has left this earth, something you had to close out, all of these things. I want you to be able to grieve from a healthy place because it's very, very possible, all right? So, like I said, let's go ahead and pop into the first 6 things that you're going to need to thrive during this holiday season. If you've lost a loved one, have to close out a situation, something's going on, and you're just in a space of grief, okay? Number 1, the first thing that you need to go ahead and do is go ahead and set those healthy boundaries. And I'm going to tell you something right now that I want you to get very clear on, because I'm not just telling you, oh, go set boundaries and just go on. No. I want to be very clear when I'm saying this. Set healthy boundaries. Starting with this, do not feel guilty. If you do not want to go to every single event or celebratory situation, if you feel like it's going to bring you to a space where you cannot control your emotions, then that may not be a space that you need to be in. You may have to choose what situations, what events are going to be the best for you to be in. If you know that you are in a space of grief and you know there is a family member that you don't necessarily get along with, but everyone goes to this person's house and you just want, listen, if you think and believe and you feel intuitively that there possibly could be a problem, you don't need to be in an environment where you're going to be potentially triggered on top of your grieving, because the response that may come from you may be one that you may be ashamed of later. And sometimes we really have to really kind of consider and be real with ourselves and not overestimate the situation or underestimate what's going on within ourselves. And the truth is, a lot of us are walking around, we are grieving, we have pain, we have all of this stuff going on, and we, on top of that, we have life going on. And so we're trying to figure out, and we literally are one chip away from snapping on somebody and giving them all of that energy. So the first thing that you're going to have to need to really, really thrive during this holiday season, you got to pick and choose what spots you are going to and what spots you just cannot be in. And do not feel guilty about that. Do not allow anyone to make you feel guilty or guilt trip you about being in spaces that make you be anything other than your authentic self. Because at the end of the day, when you step outside of yourself, you are still responsible for your own actions, regardless of what the other person says. I think the meme is out there that says everybody always talks about the results or the outcome, but they don't talk about what happened before that and why I acted like that. That's because nobody cares. Hello. When people are looking from afar, they don't care. It look like it's two fools arguing. They don't know who is who. Nobody cares about why you acted the way you acted. They just see your actions. And if you know that certain environments are going to put you in a situation, certain family members can possibly box you in on top of your grief to where you may explode, be honest with yourself and don't put yourself in those settings, because it's only you that have to deal with the feelings of shame after. Yes, going off on somebody may feel absolutely amazing. Yes, you may have felt as if you were justified in what you were doing. Yes, but when you go home and you think about it, you really are going to hate that you have allowed another human being to have so much power, even more power than God, if I'm just going to keep it real with you, because nobody should move you to the point to where you move and you sway. But you've allowed that energy to make you sway when you didn't have to be in that situation from jump. Stop feeling guilty for being around family members not wanting to be around family members that mistreat you or that cause you grief or that are going to add more stress on top of your grief. You don't need that. So the first thing you're going to have to do if you really want to thrive in this holiday season is you have got to make sure that you are setting the proper boundaries by choosing which environments you're going to participate in and which ones you will not be participating in for the sake of your soul health. Again, for your mental health, and I'm talking about your mind, because let's talk about the soul, because a lot of people talk about the soul, but they don't really understand the soul. The soul is comprised of three things, okay? It is your mind, it is your emotions, and it is your willpower. See, if someone gets into a space to where they offend you, or they get you so confused, or they get you so caught up to where mentally you're stepping outside of yourself, so now emotionally you're getting all riled up, and therefore you feel like you lose control because you lose power over your will. Because you've given someone that much energy from you. You've given them that much power over you. It's very dangerous. Set healthy boundaries in this season. Don't go in spaces that are going to make you uncomfortable on top of you grieving. Don't do that. Don't do it to yourself. You don't deserve that. And you are your first example on how you are to be treated. And we don't show up in environments that we can't thrive in. We don't show up in environments that we have to kind of scrounge and do all this. We don't show up in those environments. We show up in environments that we can flourish in, we can be ourselves, and we're not going to be ridiculed or toppled or bullied, because nobody talks about at the family gatherings how people bully. Nobody talks about that. Set boundaries. I remember when I first went to school, I gained a whole lot of weight. That y'all know how I go in a black family. Y'all already know how I go. As soon as you put the weight on, you ain't miss no. It's the topic of conversation, and that's bullying. It's bullying. And I didn't know then what I know now because I wouldn't have participated in certain things. Don't position yourself to be hurt on top of the hurt that you're already suffering because you've lost someone that you really, really love and that you really, really value. Okay? So, let's go ahead and get into the second one. So now that we know we set healthy boundaries and that we are absolutely not dealing with unruliness or environments that are not healthy for us, we're just not having it, okay? The second thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and create your creative action plan. Now, I'm going to get to that more so towards the end of what that looks like. I'm going to tell you exactly the questions you need to ask. I'm going to tell you exactly the things that you need to look at. And by the time you get off here, you're going to have a creative action plan. And you're going to know what you're doing for the holidays. And you're going to know what you're doing for those days that are difficult. It could be the loved one's birthday. It could be an anniversary. It could be this. All of these things. You will be able to use this creative action plan to be able to plan any event. Any event. What's Demi say? I still lack in boundaries. I grew up being quiet as an adult. It's hard to speak. I understand. I understand completely. I understand completely because I grew up and I didn't have a voice. And this is a conversation I was having with, I don't want to call her my baby. She's not my baby anymore. Was it one of my mentees? But, you know, I grew up and I didn't have a voice. And so now I'm in a space to where I'm telling you, Demi, it's one of the things when God tell you that it's cool to have boundaries, where when I really figured out how much of a boundary setter God was, and I was like, hold on, and I made it his excellence. So that mean that's me? Like that's all me? So I really just started stepping into the God mind of me and stop living in the boxes that people wanted to put me in. Like, no, I'm not going to deal with that. And I'm okay if you want to be away from me. I'm okay if you're saying that I'm acting funny. That's fine with me, but you're going to know not to play with me, though. Good evening, good night. I know I'm going to go home and I'm going to have peace. I'm going to have peace where I am because I will bring you into my peace because you will not pull me into this chaotic situation. So I get it. I definitely get it. And it's definitely a process. It's definitely a process. So the creative action plan, I'm going to get into that a little bit more towards the end. So the number 3, let's skip that. Well, let's put a pin in that because I don't want to give you everything in that one. But let's do number 3. And let's be clear on this. Nothing is going to, once you set your boundaries, once you've created your action plan, the third thing I really need you to be clear on and understand is that nothing is going to numb your pain. Now, I'm not going to specifically talk about drugs, but I'll say this. We all have seen or possibly know someone who knows someone, or we know someone personally who has lost someone so dear to them, and it's like they're stuck in that space. They're so stuck in that space that they can only drink or they can only do hard drugs to be able to go back and see that person. Like, we all know someone likes that that's in that type of space. Okay? We know someone who is trying to numb the pain. Let's talk about another thing that we tend to do as far as trying to numb the pain. We will eat. Okay, let's get into my personal battle of 20 years, not 20 years, I'm sorry. Hold on, get into it because I've been overeating all my life. But when I got on my own, a good 20 years of battling emotional eating and not realize that's what I'm battling. Okay? Wanting something sweet. Something just happened, and not realizing that a little bit. I'm asking, I want something sweet, or I want this. We're not going to be able to numb our pain by eating. Okay? We have to be very cautious and understand that food is fuel and not just to fill us up. And what ends up happening when we end up trying to numb the pain by doing different things, drinking, eating a whole lot, escaping through other people, doing all of these different type of things, we still end up feeling the pain. The pain is still there. It's not going anywhere. And I want to say this too. People say with grief, time heals all wounds. Listen, I'm okay with the fact that some wounds are not going to be healed while I'm here. Okay? Some of them are just not. The one with my best friend leaving, that's just one that's what I like to call a life adjustment. That's not something I am going to heal from. When you have a relationship with someone like that, where she literally is the Jonathan to my David, so she is a soul knit to me. So this is not I'm just going to move on and time is going to heal my wound. No, this is a life adjustment. This is me understanding that there are times that I'm going to laugh when I think about her. There are times that I'm going to bawl when I think about her. And this is what life is. And whatever happens, I'm going to be vulnerable and allow myself to be able to operate in that space and to feel those emotions, because there's not anything wrong with that. I'm not going to shun me. I'm not going to try to numb it, because what I teach my clients and what I also understand is that emotions, pain is inevitable. Suffering is an option. That's a choice. I teach my clients that your mind is a house. I'm giving y'all this good game right here, but your mind is a house, okay? So let's talk about it in a space as if it was a 1-bedroom house, okay? Or let's say this 1.5-bedroom house. Sounds crazy, but follow me. 1.5-bedroom house. You have the master bedroom. I'm talking about you have full control of everything in the house, and there is a very small half room where you allow guests to come in. Your emotions are guests. Okay? Your emotions are guests. If you allow sadness to come in, you can allow her in, acknowledge her, allow her to stay in that room. Y'all gonna eat sweets and ice cream. Y'all gonna be doing all this great stuff. But what happens after a while when you eat a bunch of sweet stuff in a small space? It starts to attract bugs. It starts to get a little nasty in there. It starts to get all these different type of things in the environment. You start looking, I don't do my house like this. So you are the person that has to tell sadness that she has to go. It's time to go. Only one emotion can fit in that room at a time. That's why I say pain is inevitable, because these emotions are going to come knocking at your door. Be clear. But you decide how long these emotions get to stay. Don't try to numb them out. Don't try to lock them out. Because, girl, they're going to keep knocking at the door. Don't be looking at the ring light like, girl, here she go again. Let her in. Let sis in so you can acknowledge her, talk to her, deal with her, and send her on her way. Don't try to numb it. It's not possible, okay? Don't try to numb it. So that's the third thing I really want you to get clear. I really want you to understand. You can't escape that type of pain. It's the inevitable, y'all. But the suffering, I'm telling you, is completely optional. It's completely optional. And if you find yourself in a space where I'm always suffering, DM me. We need to talk about that. Not even for you just to come and work with me. Because listen, y'all already know how I feel about that. Y'all know I feel like the people that come to work with me are spirit-led. They have to be. That's the only way you're going to get what you need. So be obedient in that space if you're being called to me. But otherwise, get in my DM too, because I don't want you to be out here unbalanced, out here by one foot in the hospital, 1 foot, like we don't even know because we're so disconnected from ourselves because we've become so numb. We eat processed foods all the time, which is numbing things in our body, numbing certain things that we need to make us so much more aware. We using all kind of stuff and we just don't know what's happening. But don't numb it. Acknowledge it, allow it to come in, and make a decision on how long it's going to stay. All right? So, we have set these healthy boundaries. Once we've done that, once we have created a creative action plan, and once we understand that nothing can numb the pain, what you want to do is that you want to fourthly find an amazing way to remember them. I'm talking about a flyway. Now I know we sitting around, okay, because let me not say it because I don't want it to come across as shade, because I don't throw shade at all. But the candle vigils are cool if that's what you want. But like, what is really a way that really can honor them? Like, what was one of their favorite things to do? That maybe it's an activity that y'all could just go and do where you can laugh instead of cry. What is something that is so amazing that's linked to them that you could just create? And it doesn't have to be extravagant. It doesn't have to be, it just has to be authentic. It gotta be real, to the point to where you be like, man, such and such would have loved this. They would have loved this. And if you get a few tears in the midst of that, then you get a few tears in the midst of that. But just the fact that you're celebrating and not sitting around and just drowning in what you feel. Like really, 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 really taking the time and honoring the person in an honorable way. Very honorable. I think that's so valuable. It's so, so important. So that could be something as simple as if you celebrate, what's the holiday coming up? Not Thanksgiving, but, well, people are already putting up their trees for Christmas. But if you celebrate Christmas, that could be an ornament that you put on your tree that represents them, if that's your thing. You know what I'm saying? Or this could be, I'm going to cook with her pots. Like one thing with me, when my best friend passed away, we were so close, her parents gave me things from her estate. So some of the things that I took were her cooking things. And when I cooked in them, I just felt like I was so close, I was cooking in love. And so what I ended up doing is, when I ended up moving to Texas, I gave those utensils to one of our girls that we used to mentor. And so now she cooks in them, and she operates in that type of space, and she remembers these things. And that's a way to just simply like be able to like celebrate her. It doesn't have to be extremely extravagant, but it has to be real. It has to be authentic. It has to be from the heart. It has to be from pure intentions, or it's not gonna work. So really find an amazing way to really honor the person that you've lost. Anything, chew their favorite gum, and just like whatever it looks like for you, but be real in that aspect and do it. Find joy, okay? The fifth thing that I want you to understand and be clear on with this holiday thriving kit that's really, really important is that you have the right to allow yourself to feel. If you, like I said, when you find yourself in this situation, let's say you're doing the activity and it's just going so well and you start feeling it, you start shedding some tears, allow yourself to feel what you feel. Don't allow anyone, don't let them, oh girl, don't start all that. Allow yourself to feel. No, I'm gonna allow myself to feel because I just got joy. I know that they're not here, but I still have joy for what we just did and how we were able to just honor them. And that feels good. So allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you feel like you need to feel. But just don't let it overtake you. Just don't let it put you in a position to where it cripples you. You have to make an exit or you have an emotional outburst to where you can't control yourself. That's why these steps are in order like this. Because when you set the proper boundaries and you know yourself, you won't position yourself for certain things. So this creative action plan that you created is going to be extremely effective. Because you started from the space of understanding and being self-aware of what is necessary for you to thrive. Because as women, we are flowers and we only can thrive in healthy soil. So you can't be any and everywhere. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. You can't be any and everywhere. You can't plant yourself any and everywhere. And sometimes that's at family members' houses. And that's just what it is. So allow yourself to feel, okay? So that was number 5. Now I have number 6 before I go into the next 4 of how you can help someone else, and then the creative action plan. So after you set your healthy boundaries, after you've created an action plan, after you have realized that nothing can numb the pain, so you're not going to try to block it, but you're going to open the door when it knocks. And once you figure out, okay, this is what we're doing to celebrate them, and yes, I got a little bit caught up in my feelings. If you get too far off or you feel like, you know what, I just don't know how to get out the house. I just don't know how to participate in it. I just don't know how. Ask for help. One of the hardest things, I saw someone post it was like, oh, what's the hardest thing to say? It was like, I love you, I need help, and then it was like, no, or something else. And the majority of the women that were on that said, I need help. And the majority of those women were women of color. All of them were women of color, actually. They all were saying the hardest thing for them to say is, I need help. We have to come out of the mindset that I'm 30, I'm 29, I'm this age, I'm grown as hell, I should have this, I should know this, that's common sense, why don't I know this? Let me tell you something, and I'm just keeping it real. People tell me all the time that they think, oh, you have this wisdom, you're so wise, and this. A lot of that comes from experience of knocking my head. And you know why I knocked my head? Because my mother, being a single mother, she didn't really have time to tell me how to do certain things. She just told me what to do. And so the how of the process, I hit my head. I had to figure it out. I hurt myself deeply, a lot of these things, until I understood the power of receiving help. Asking for help, not being afraid to ask for help. Because I'm going to tell you something. I didn't just automatically start asking either. When my best friend died, my whole world crashed. We had 60 girls we was mentoring, all this. Then I was supposed to quit my job. We were supposed to go full-time in a nonprofit. All of that. My whole world crashed. So this was no, I'm just going to go do whatever. No, ma'am, Pam. I couldn't breathe. I got a psychologist. I got a grief counselor, and I turned around and wrote out my experience through grief, wrote out the seasons that I went through, wrote out how I was angry at certain people because I felt like they weren't there for me. But the reality of the situation is they weren't supposed to be there for me during that time, because all I needed was God. And so my first lesson was to allow God to help me. And then I began to learn how to allow other people to help me, how to open up the portal of receiving energy, how to be more feminine, how to really do work that's not overwhelming, but that's effective and that changes women's lives. All of that came from me receiving and begging and asking for help. And it came to, God, I don't know what to do. My person is not here, who I always get it. I don't know what to do. But I know you. And I know my mother always instilled me into you. And I need you because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know my own thoughts. I don't recognize me. I've always been the strong one. I'm the one that's there for everyone. I'm the oldest. I'm this. Everyone comes to me. Yet everyone is uncomfortable seeing me so broken because they've never seen me like this before. Ask for the help that you need. Be obedient to go and follow where you're supposed to be going, and apply what you need to apply. But it starts with asking for help. And I put that last because that's the last thing that's on our list. We don't want to ask for help. We don't want to admit that we are struggling. We don't want to admit that we have pain because we feel ashamed of it. But how about we all got pain? Girl, when I tell y'all, let me tell y'all one of the best things that ever happened to me when it came down to this work. When God revealed to me that everybody got, like, he's just like, everybody has something they're struggling with. So one, you have no room to say anything about anyone, and no one has no room to really rise above and say anything about you because they all have struggles. You all need me. You all need me. So focus on me and give mercy and grace to others. And that's what I do. Give mercy and grace to others because they need help too. And a lot of people are scared to ask because that means that you may have to face some things that you don't want to face. But the beautiful thing that I'm noticing, everything I have to heal from, for every wound that I heal, I come out so much better. And I seem to come out even more beautiful internally to where it starts to reflect externally. The healing is internal, y'all. The glow up is always internal. It's the external piece is the last part. But it starts with you being vulnerable and trusting someone and asking for help. Y'all know I'm here. Y'all know I got the cure set up for y'all. So y'all know if y'all need me, I'm right here. Y'all know what's going on. So, but get the help that you need. Ask for help. Don't be scared. Ask. I need a grief counselor. If you feel like, okay, I need that, I need some help, DM me. I'll try to find a resource to you that can get you some grief. And I also have some resources because when my best friend died, I wrote an ebook about my grief experience. And I broke down through the stages, and at the end it teaches people how to create an action plan, creative action plan as well. That was the first thing I ever dropped. That's the first pain that God allowed me to turn into a profit. Because I dropped that book on my birthday, December 8, 2018. I was scared as ever on my personal Facebook page. I logged off, and I woke up the next morning, and I had made $1,000. And I knew, child, it made my DCS check. God has shown me that my pain is not just for me, it's for somebody else. It's to help somebody else heal. I need to see what else he wants me to do. 2021, here I am. Okay? Ask for help. And then allow yourself to receive the help. Got it? All right. So let's go ahead. Oh, Keisha, I'm happy. I'm glad. I'm glad that it's comforting. I'm so glad. Okay? So this is how you help people who may be struggling with grief and it's not you. Or maybe help other people that are around you that may be struggling with grief. All right? The first thing you want to do is that you want to be sure to support how the griever how they choose to approach the holiday. If they don't want to be bothered, don't try to make them. If they don't want to go, do not try to make them. Because if they show up and they are not at their best selves, whatever you get from that is what you get from that. Be sure to support the griever however they choose to approach the holiday. If they want to come and stay and stop for 30 minutes, let them stop and stay for 30 minutes. If they want to stop and stay for an hour, let them stop and stay for an hour. Don't try to control their time. Don't try to control them because you don't know what they're feeling on the inside. You don't know what being in this space is invoking for them internally, and you have to respect that. All right? So the second thing that's really, really important is if you are, let's say some people tend to go to services and different things and have services or have certain things that happen. Invite the person to that. If it's a positive space where you feel like they want to go or they would assist them and help them, invite them. Yes, they may turn it down. I'm going to tell you flat foot. When my best friend died, I was like super extroverted, right? All my life. talk to a tree. Still will talk to a tree. But I have become very ambivert, which is very extroverted sometimes, introverted other times. After her death, I was like, okay, I don't know, I want to be around a whole bunch of people. It was just very, very awkward. It was something that shifted in me. And so I will go somewhere, but you better know in my mind I got a time limit because I need to get back to me. So I have a time limit when I go places, and a lot of, God didn't told on my whole self, but my folks, they know I'm in and out. But I'm telling you my method in that space of like, I have a time limit everywhere I'm going, unless it's something, a work engagement I know, but even then I'm specific in knowing what I'm doing. But I have a time limit on how long I'm staying at this engagement, how long I'm doing this, because I need to go back home and recharge and be back with me. Because also what you have to know about yourself is that you have to know the type of energy you give off. You have to know your gifts. And if you know that you have healing energy, people can be drawn to you and people can just take. And if you're in a room full of take, it can get a bit difficult. So the boundary has to be set. So for me, that's a bit of a boundary for me, just so I don't get overwhelmed by what may be happening. Now, if I'm feeling it and I feel like I'm going to stay long and stay off, then I will. There are some elements where I do that. But I go in most times with a time limit just to be able to respect myself, respect my boundaries, and allow myself to recharge the way that I need to. So, invite them, girl. Invite them somewhere, okay? Or invite them. The third thing is to invite them with you guys. Invite them to your family situation. They may come, they may not want to come. They may show up late. They may just be grateful that you have offered and they really may consider. But if your place is an option, invite them, all right? So, fourth thing that you can really do, we have 6, I teach in my group coaching program, there are 6 emotional basic needs, all right? One of them is giving and contribution, all right? We all have the need internally to give back to somebody. I don't care if it's like somebody you may know in your neighborhood, somebody, an organization, a charity, or whatever. It's just something within us all that has a desire to give back, whether we do that or not. All right. Now that's one of those choice emotional needs, because we can choose to step up into that, or we can sit back and say we don't never have anything, but we always have something to give. But carry on. But invite them to help you serve. Choose a place to go serve. Sometimes people may not want to be around other people cacking and moving around and doing all this stuff, but they may actually just want to go out and serve. It's something about when you're serving other people that brings a joy to you. And you may actually bring a smile to this individual's face by actually, inviting them to go serve someone else during that time frame, because they may not want to be around their family, but they may want to be around strangers. And I know that sounds really, really crazy, but sometimes people do better when they go into elements and they're serving strangers instead of being around people they know are going to make them feel a certain type of way or put them in certain positions. So, or where they can potentially come outside of themselves or act differently. So they choose to go serve. So invite them to serve. Invite them to serve somewhere. You may be shocked. That, to me, out of all of them, that normally is like the winner. That really shocks people. That people actually are more willing to go serve other people and serve so many others, and instead of being with their family during the holidays. You'd be very shocked. So that's the fourth way that you'll be able to really kind of help someone that may be grieving, or help someone else that's grieving in the same space as you without allowing yourself to be consumed by their emotions, because that can happen. Sometimes if you allow, if you don't have a plan, if you don't kind of know yourself and you don't really know the environment, know the situation, someone else's grief can overtake yours. And then you start feeling like, well, this person is making it about them. No, they're not really making it about them. It's just more so like you weren't really prepared for that. Like you really didn't have a plan in place on how you were going to deal with people and deal with certain situations. What you allow to have access to you is extremely important. And what you allow to move you is very important. What people do, what we have to understand is what other people do have nothing to do with us, has everything to do with the way they see the world, the way they see things, and that's it, okay? That don't mean we got to accept it all, though. Be clear. But just know that's the way that person sees the world and views it, and then based on that, you make your own decisions, all right? So now that we have the 10 out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this creative action plan really quickly. If you do not have a pen or paper, you might want to grab some, because I'm going to run this down for you really quickly, and then I'm going to do a quick, no, I'm not going to do a run through, because I've been on here long enough. Y'all got it. And then I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. So let's go ahead and get into the creative action plan and what that looks like. So the creative action plan consists of questions that are going to kind of prompt you and guide you on how to plan your events and plan things around those difficult times. Like I would have something maybe around my friend's birthday, something around maybe around the anniversary that she passed away, just different little simple things like that. So this right here is a form, and if you want it, you let me know. I will gladly send it to you, okay? But it's basically a guide that helps you go through what you need. So I'm going to read it a little bit to you, and it's basically you're going to use the prompted questions below as your guide on while utilizing the brainstorming activity efforts, which is called BAY, okay? That's called BAY, which is the brainstorm activities efforts, okay? That's basically you taking 10 minutes, setting an alarm, and writing down all of the things that you completely love to do, the things that make you feel good, activities that make you feel good, activities that give you peace, activities that put you in a space of harmony, activities that make you feel in flow. These are things that you're going to completely write down, all of them, as many as you can in 10 minutes. And let me tell you, and I'll give you a bigger challenge. If you find yourself in a space like, I don't know what I like, I ain't mad, sis. Because I'm going to tell you something. Life will get so hectic and get so heavy. We forget what we like. We forget because we get so consumed with everybody else's. This is a time for you. Put something on for the children, okay? Let's get the husband out the way. Let's get everybody. Let's put the phone on Do Not Disturb. And let's take 10 minutes to completely focus on what it is that you need. Even if you have to go back to childhood. Because, baby, I like to color. Listen, I like to color. I like puzzles. Like all of these things. So write down things that put you in the space of harmony. Once you do that, on the creative action plan, you're going to have up top, what is the holiday? That's standing right there. I'm sorry, I should have did this on what's the name. But you're going to have what is the holiday up there, or the date of, the list of holiday or the date of difficulty. You put the date at the top, and then you have these questions right here. List your top five, all right? Traveling to or / visiting where makes me smile. That could be I'm going to the river makes me smile. That could be going to get on a yacht makes me smile. That could be go catch this flight makes me smile. What are 5 places that you can travel to or visit that make you smile, that bring you great joy? For me, sis, because I am of earth and water element, and when I am too emotional, I need to ground myself into the earth. I need to be near earth and water. If I feel like I have been too fiery, too spicy during the week, then I need to go and be near water to remind me of my feminine, okay? I'm giving game now. I hope y'all catching that. I'm giving y'all leading with lipstick game. So, but I do these things. So what does that look like for you? Where do you travel? Where do you visit? Or if you like, you know what? I haven't visited anywhere. I haven't visited anywhere in a long time. Where were the places that you went to when you were a child that gave you joy? Because pay attention to the scripture that speaks about we're going to have to go back like children, as if we were children. That's not a coincidence. That's actually multi-layered. That's a multi-layered verses. Multi-layered. Going back to childhood is going to be key all throughout life. And if you've ever worked with me, if you've been in my program, you understand that and you know that, which is why we get down to the root. And we have this great thing called breaking the G code, which shows you the negative, which basically guides you down the path of figuring out the negative generational pattern that has caused a rift in your family, that has caused an issue with you don't see abundance, whether that's this, whether it is just everything. If you can't see it, there's a rift in the generation, and we help you work through that kink and see it for what it is and replace it with what is necessary and what is true. So it's extremely important now It's time to get back to that type of space. Go back in your mind in childhood and figure out what are the places that made you feel like that. Those things are not coincidental. Don't allow that to shrink. Don't allow your problems in life to make you forget your inner girl. Because if you feel like, and I'm telling you what I know, if you feel like you're gonna run around here and ignore that little girl on the inside of you, she gonna run hell in your life. Whether it's in your relationships, whether it is at your job, in your business, in your job, in career, all of that. She's gonna wreak havoc because little baby don't have no structure. Little baby has no attention. And when babies don't have attention, they act out. And you pay attention to some of the acting out that is happening in your behavior, because a lot of us are walking around here, we're grown children. We are grown children. And I know this for a fact because I was a grown child for 20 years. Okay? Very, very vital, very, very important. Go back to childhood and find out what you love. What places gave you joy, all right? And list them 5, all right? I don't care if it's the park, the monkey bars, listen. And then you be like, you know, I used to really skate. And no, but I'm too old. I don't want to break it up on. Baby, go get them skates. Because skating is feminine and it is flowing. Imagine yourself flowing on water, and before you know, you be back in your childhood space. And you like, why did I stop doing this? Get into it, okay? So we got the 5 things that we're going to list. Right after that, very important question. Who makes me smile? Top 3 people. You're going to list the top 3 people that make you smile. That I posted on my personal page the other day. Surround yourself with people who don't play about you. Because one thing for sure, 2 things for certain. Your girl got that. Because my folks don't play about me. And they don't play about me because I don't play about myself. I no longer play about myself. Because for a while I played about myself. But I no longer play about myself. So the people that surround me don't play about me. And I'm constantly smiling. Despite whatever is happening. Okay? So the top 3 people that make you smile. List them. Right under the places and things you like to travel. Okay? And visit. Now, next question. Doing what activity makes me smile? So this is where we go into the activity portion. First, we talked about traveling and visiting. What places? Okay? Then we talked about who. Who in your life is giving you these good smiles and these good giggles and laughs that we need, or that are necessary, that are medicine. Okay? And then you're getting into what activities just make me smile. Even if I'm by myself, I don't even need nobody. Child, listen, this sun charging, I be doing this walking, these 90 pounds I done lost, I love being in nature. I ain't got to be with nobody. Now, if I feel like, and it's crazy, if I feel like I got to go to the gym, I feel like got to go with somebody. That's why I don't like it. I want to be outside. I feel like I'm just supposed to be there. And probably rightfully so, because we're supposed to tend to the land and not have all these jobs and have all these problems and deal with all that. But never mind, it's a whole nother conversation. But what activities make you smile that you can even do by yourself? You don't need nobody. Okay? So, then you get into the questions here. Does this activity require me to travel in a space? So that means, do I have to catch a plane? Do I need to drive somewhere? Do I need to walk somewhere? What is this actually going to look like? And then underneath that, you're going to have where and when. Okay? So once you do that, then you're going to have this simple thing right here, which is the very end of the creative action plan. And what that says is, it's basically telling you what's going on. So it says, I am, and it has flying, driving, taking a bus, taking the train, walking to wherever you're going to go, one of those favorite places, because you have a list now, for this many days, weeks, months, whatever, and I'm going to do it with this person. And you're going to choose from the list of people who make you smile. So for myself, I'm going to say, if I was creating this plan for me, I'm going to say for my birthday, because my best friend really loved celebrating my birthday. And so the year after she died, I could not do a birthday dinner. I could not deal with that. I just was like, no, I don't even want to be in the same city. I have to be out of town. I can't deal with it. It's just too much. I don't want anybody trying to celebrate. I just don't want to do it. I just want to be away. And so I told my husband that, and I created this creative action plan. And so for myself during that time, I said, okay, I am driving to the beach, to Florida, for 3 days. with my husband. While away, I plan to participate in the following activities, which were the activities that bring me joy that I could do by myself. So not only do I have what I'm going to do, I have who I'm going to do it with, and I have what I'm going to do. Things that are going to constantly keep me in a space of harmony, in a space of joy, so that I can properly celebrate my loved one without being consumed by my emotions. Powerful work by just simply sitting with yourself and asking the proper questions and getting what you need from yourself. The kingdom of heaven is within you. When are you going to start acting like it? Because I promise you, you have the answers to your questions. You just don't have the tools to pull it out. And for that, I can help you. For that, I can support you. For that, I can walk you through. And once I walk you through it, you won't need me. Ask my clients. Because they have the tools that will last them a lifetime. Even beyond when I leave here. Get into it. What is your legacy saying about you? It's so, so, so important. So, so, so important. So, so, so vital. So, I want to know if there's any questions, because that is the creative action plan. And that is basically kind of everything. I'm not going to do no heavy recap because I gave like 10 tips, so y'all have to go back and watch that and catch it. But I do want to open the floor if there are any questions or anything or thoughts about this particular workshop. I am so glad I made it through without crying, because I thought I was going to get tore up. Because this actually, like I said, it ended up coming from my ebook. So I'm really, really excited about it. Also, while y'all are on here and I'm waiting on questions and just to see, get feedback about today's workshop, I want to talk a little bit about the cure, because I know you've been seeing me post about it on my personal page. The cure is an amazing, amazing, amazing process that I'm going to work you through. This is for the woman who is, wants to be more disciplined in her life. And her business, honestly. She wants to be more disciplined in her life and her business. She wants to create healthier habits, like real healthy habits, excellent habits that are authentic to her. And she wants to learn how to properly manage her emotions and not be all over the place. Because I'm going to tell you, entrepreneurship can bring about anxious thoughts. It can bring about fearful feelings. And if you don't know what to do with those things begin to attack your organs. Those things begin to cause illness in the body. And then you can't do your work. You can't show up for yourself. You can't show up for your family. You can't show up the way that God has been calling you to show up, because you're not taking care of yourself. You don't have the answers, Sway. And that's okay that listen, it is okay that you don't have the answers. None of us know everything. I don't know everything, but I'm going to tell you this, honey. What I do know is I know self-care. And I know that the cure works. I know it's effective. I know it's a remedy. I know that when you leave me, you won't necessarily need me again unless you just want to touch up and you got a next level of new things you need to deal with. That's for sure. You're going to leave with what you need. I can give you that. Because you're going to need clarity. You're going to need structure. You're going to need stability in order to sustain and to flow the way that you're going to want to flow in your life and in your business. I'm telling you what I know, sis. You need the cure. Get into it. That's going to be 4 weeks live coaching. You get me once a week. The investment is $9.97. Payment plans are available. Okay? It's $9.97 for 4 weeks. You're going to get the live coaching. You're going to also get a bonus course. So when you leave me, you're like, okay, hold on. You're like, okay, hold on. I need to be able to go back. Or if you think, I need to call Elle. No, you don't, baby. Because you're going to get this bonus course too. What you're going to get is the cure to your life and biz chaos e-course as well. And with that, you're going to be able to rejuvenate yourself and go back to where you need to be so you can get clear, create the calm that you need, and then also start to build your business and your life community, your friend community, knowing how to discern a connection from an attachment. That's vital. If you're talking about you out here serving people, you need to be able to discern. You got to be able to discern. You got to know what communities are best for you. You got to know what works best for you. It's so important. It's so important. And the cure is going to position you for that clarity, so that you can sustain and be in flow in business and not quitting. Like I posted today, almost 40% of people like quitting their businesses. I'm seeing all this stuff like, and I went on live and I told them why. I said, people talking about these numbers, but let me tell you why they really quitting. Get into it. I'm gonna go and give y'all this too. Baby, God be doing too much telling me tell y'all all this. But let me just give y'all from the other day this too. Know why people really quitting their business? Number one, they scared. You know why they scared? Because they're moving to the beat of their own drum instead of being led by the Spirit. I'd be scared too. I've lived that life. So it's real scary. Okay? The second thing that is really, really vital why people are quitting their business and like, just like bye, is because they don't know what to do. So because they don't know what to do, they start mimicking other people. They start compromising themselves. They start doing that thing I like to call going dark for dollars, which is compromising your well-being for claps, cash, and all of that, and still coming up short. Okay? And then the third thing that reason why people are quitting their business is because they can't manage their emotions. They can't manage their anxiety around what's happening because they're so caught up in what's happening in the world. That's true tea. That's really what is happening, and people really are not paying attention to that. And they just really need the cure, truthfully. And I say that with full confidence. They need the cure. They need the cure so they can understand who they are. And no matter what's happening externally, no matter what's happening in the world, no matter what is popping, you know what you're supposed to be doing, and you're staying in alignment of that. Because it's very, very vital. Extremely important. So, queens, y'all have gotten it today. Y'all have definitely gotten it today. Thank you, Keisha. Oh, Tasha. Yes. When you gonna start acting like it, Casey? I know this right. But all right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm going to drop a comment. Drop something in the comments if you're interested in the cure. Please DM me the word cure. I would absolutely love to support you in the season. Remember, payment plans are available. It is $9.97. It is 4 weeks, and you get the bonus course, which is valued at about $2,500, and you get that for free included. So I can't wait to work with amazing women that choose to go into 2022 cured and not stressed. And I can't wait to hear about how you guys have utilized this holiday thriving kit. And I hope it has supported you the way that it supported me for the last 4 years. So I love y'all. Peace.